Hello, everyone, and welcome to the big show. This is Investing and Trading Live, sponsored by Trading Academy. If you're a first-time listener, thank you for stopping by. As always, I am your host, Josh Lilquist, and today I have my good friend, and he is my good pal, and he is the one, maybe not the only, but the Mr. Al Connickson. How are you doing today, Al?
You know what? I am doing pretty good, Josh. I feel great. How about you?
I'm doing good. I'm glad you're feeling great. I'm feeling great. The market's looking great. Obviously, we've seen great moves over the last couple of weeks, but we are seeing some consolidation in the market, and that's a little interesting because we have a little something coming up in the next couple of weeks. So here's the question: is the market starting to brace for the election? And we'll discuss some of that here on the show on Investing and Trading Live. Make sure to follow the podcast, Investing and Trading Live, wherever you listen to your podcast, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. And Trading Academy, our sponsor of the show, on their 28th year, teaching people just like you how to invest, how to trade, how to get started in the market if you're brand new and you don't know a stock from a rock, or you're a seasoned investor, but you're just looking for some more consistency. We have strategies, techniques, and concepts on how to utilize these markets, building that skill to use that market for whatever that goal or objective that you do have. And it's not always monetary. Sometimes it's time, location, whatever that soup du jour is. Trading Academy has that for you. Al, as I mentioned at the beginning, we had a great week, last couple of weeks, I should say, in the markets. And the markets are starting to consolidate, we'll say. I'm just looking at the S&P 500 from the 14th of this month. Really, we're right stuck in this range, around 5. I'm looking at the S&P 500 ETF, the SPY is what I'm looking at. Around that 585 to 580 mark, and we've seen some movements throughout that, some big moves actually, throughout that range. So is the market consolidating, starting to brace for this election? Obviously, we had some earnings this week, a blockbuster earning this week on, I believe it was Tuesday. Just looking at here, GE, they actually beat earnings, but the problem was markets opened up about 9% lower. Right. And it opened up 4% lower and then dropped throughout the day on Tuesday to about a 9.4% drop roughly in with GE. But then you know what happened on Wednesday? Market opened up a little bit higher and shot straight up. Right. So they hit earnings, which means the earnings were good, but there was a surprise of revenue, which was down. And that's what scared the market. So it's all about supply and demand in these financial markets. How do you make smart investing decisions and protecting your capital, especially around these news events, earnings, and then the election coming up? So I want to talk a lot about here today how to protect the capital that you do have, whether it's in the market or if it's not in the market. What can you do with that and have more opportunities with the great volatility that we're going to see moving forward? And that's going to continue. Al, we'll discuss that here on the show, but with these earnings reports this week, obviously GE on Wednesday, Tesla Thursday, what are you seeing Tesla Wednesday, GE Tuesday, Tesla on Wednesday? What are you seeing with these great opportunities?
Yeah, we also saw Starbucks take a hit. Earnings can have a huge impact on what happens.
What's the ticker symbol on Starbucks?
SBUX.
SBUX. Since as you're talking, I'll look at that here. Go ahead.
Yeah, but we've got a lot of things going on. Josh had mentioned earnings. We're in earnings season right now, and I think what happens is that a lot of these companies are at such a high valuation that perfection is pretty much priced in, and if they don't meet that, they get punished.
Speaking of this Starbucks earnings, you said the earnings weren't good. Their revenue was down, their earnings were down. It dropped about from the opening, or from the close on Tuesday to Wednesday, about 3%. But then within the first hour of the day, it was right back up there.
Yeah, well, they got a new CEO too, so I think there's some hope there, based on what they think is going to come in the future. But we've got earnings season, we've got the election coming up, and all sorts of promises being thrown out there that I don't know how we're going to pay for.
Promises? Oh gosh, who knows? Are they real?
That's surprising.
Are we going to get into those promises?
Probably not. But the other thing that is kind of creeping up right now are the yields on the treasuries. And that's what is now causing some people to be a little concerned about the Fed policy going forward. The people get really excited when there's some news out there that they think will cause the Fed to start lowering interest rates even more. For a long time, They thought that there would be another 50 basis point drop.
Yeah, were you referring to the 10-year, which got up to about 2.2 plus?
Yeah, yes.
Sorry, 4.2 plus.
4.2. It hasn't been that high for a while. So that's something to be concerned about, or not concerned about, but to pay attention to, because that really has an impact on what happens in the stock market. We've got issues out there, geopolitical issues. Now, I heard that North Korea not only is providing arms, but also possibly people, soldiers to Russia. We've got the issue going on with Iran, Iraq. Israel. There's all sorts of things going on out there, which really can impact the movement of the markets. But here's the important thing, Josh. Success as a trader isn't always about making the right pick. In other words, the right company to invest in. It's knowing the optimal time to buy, hold, or sell an asset, whatever that asset happens to be.
Well, how do you do that?
Well, you have to know how to read a price chart, and everything you need to know is on a price chart. That's what's happening with a company or investment. It can't be hidden if you know how to read a chart. And the institutions that are actually moving the prices, they don't want you to know what they're doing. They try to kind of hide their activity,
and that's obvious, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Because they want their bottom line to improve. They have to, if they're going to make an investment in something, they have to make sure that they can get enough of their orders filled at the price they want to fill it for them to benefit. And the same thing when they sell. They want to be able to sell at a decent price and not have their activity drive the price down so far that they end up getting filled at a much lower price. So it's really, success is reading a chart. A chart is like an X-ray that a radiologist would read. Everything you need to know is there. You just have to have the knowledge and the skills, and I'm going to emphasize the word skills, to use that knowledge to read a price chart correctly.
Yeah, let's talk a lot about that here today, about the knowledge, the skills, reading price charts, and not just going out and getting opinions based off of things that you can read in the market, because as we know, things we see in here may not be the accurate thing that's actually happening. It's one of those things, do as I say, not as I do.
Well, that's a very important point.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that more coming up here. But Al, we've these people that are looking for some sort of outcome out of the market, whether it's monetary, whether it is freedom of time, location. They're looking for some education to be able to do that. And I want to talk about a trading and investing class that we do right here at the Academy. Matter of fact, we do them all across the metro, where we've taught thousands, just like you, are different strategies which are designed to teach you to make smarter investing decisions. So I want to invite you to this class. You can simply come into this class by texting the word investing to the number 210-210. That's text investing to the number 210-210. That'd be for two seats. Or go to our website, which is investingandtradinglive.com. Investingandtradinglive.com, and you can pick your own seats there. Al, we've got a lot more, lots to talk about here today. Let's discuss these different strategies and how to make smarter investing decisions moving forward. We will be right back. And we will stay live on the old YouTube for our YouTube listeners.
Let's do that. Not that we would say anything if we weren't live that people don't want to hear. But
we would never do that, would we?
Not me.
Oh, no. '26 is Saturday?
I believe so.
All right. So what's your topic on the next one there, Al?
Let's talk a little bit about what we might see coming in with the markets.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, some of the issues that people should be maybe concerned about.
Okay, what are some issues that you think?
Well, I think what we're seeing is some of the big institutions now issuing a little bit of a concern about the returns going forward, like over the next decade, maybe another lost decade coming up. Okay. There's a number of different things impacting the market both ways.
Sounds good. We will discuss.
Yeah.
All right. Segment numero 2. And that whole time I had this thing keeps moving. Yeah. So I had the timer in there. Oh. I don't know why it's so delayed on here. It's 3 minutes delayed, 8 minutes delayed. Well, that's good old YouTube for you. We love YouTube. Owned by Google. Google, right? Earnings on Tuesday. Yeah. Tuesday, yeah. All right, segment 2. Here we go. Welcome back to Investing and Trading Live, sponsored by Trade Academy. As always, I am your host, Josh Lilquist. In the last segment, we covered some topics on price charts. That's where you make your decisions. That's how you make smart and intelligent investing decisions, because those are facts. That is price within a certain amount of time. Now, what do you do with that? Well, you have to understand and learn how to read that story. And once you understand how to read that story, that's where you make low risk, high reward, high probability entry points into these financial markets. And we have investing classes that we do right here at the Academy to introduce you to these techniques and these concepts, how to make those smart investing decisions, minimizing your risk, and getting into these markets with more confidence. To come into one of these classes, simply just text the word investing to the number 210-210, or you can go online to investingandtradinglive.com and pick your own seats there. And there's also a video in there on what to expect in this upcoming investing class. Text investing to the number 210-210 or go to investingandtradinglive.com. As always, we appreciate our followers and subscribers. We're going to make this the global #1 podcast on the financial markets. Listen to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Just type in investingandtradinglive.com. Also, the YouTube viewers. We appreciate the YouTube viewers. It's a good time seeing the good comments in there and some of the different information we've been hearing as far as feedback from people. So check out the YouTube. You can just go to Josh Lilquist on YouTube. So, Al, in this segment here, as I kicked off the show, you look at the S&P 500 right now, and I was looking at the SPY. Let's just look at the SPX, which is the index, which is basically the same thing. Now, we've seen a great rally, a phenomenal rally now since August. Right. After we've seen that drop, there was a drop from July to August of about 9%, and then from August to roughly about now a gain of 13%. So it's really only a gain of 4% if you think about it over that time. So, but yet still a nice return over the last few months here. Now, with the market actually starting to consolidate a little bit, I believe volatility is picking up as well. If I look at the VIX, which is a volatility index, this is also picking up slightly. You know, kind of been sitting around that 14, 15. Now it's around the 18 to 23 area. So which means it's the fear index. Sure. Mm-hmm. No, I don't want to put fear into people because volatility is good. You want volatility in the markets. But with the things that are coming up here, you want to be able to protect what you already have, but also still have those strategies still while you're protecting that to have opportunity for more growth. Right. Now, with what you see coming, what are some of the techniques and strategies people can utilize with this volatility that we're going to probably see increasing over the next month or two?
Yeah, well, a lot of people associate volatility with risk. And those two words, volatility and risk, are actually, those are things you should take advantage of. Those are providing the opportunities for us. It probably means with the volatility that we're seeing now, the VIX is elevated. We've got a lot of things going on that are going to impact that volatility. It just means, especially for short-term traders, the opportunities are maybe some of the best that we've ever seen. It also means for somebody who's just in this for the long term and that has accepted Wall Street's advice, which is buy something and just hold on, it's pretty hard to predict what's going to happen 2 years, 5 years, 10 years from now.
You know what it's like? If people that are golfers, and you go up there, you grab that driver, and you go up there, and you close your eyes, and you try to swing as hard as you can, and then if you hit that, you hear that ting, then you go, okay, please be on the fairway. That's kind of what that is.
Is that how that goes?
Well, not that I golf like that.
Okay, all right.
Is that how you golf?
Yeah. Well, because I'm a terrible golfer. I'd still be standing there whiffing the ball because I don't the ting or the ping ting that I don't hear that very often.
Well, is that because your cart is so full of beer bottles?
That could be. That could be the problem. There may be some kind of a relationship there.
There it is. Yes.
But let's get back to investing here.
There you
And
go.
what I was saying is for the buy and hold, it's hard to predict what's going to happen in the future. So if you're just crossing your fingers and hoping that things work out, it may not happen. It's much easier on a short-term basis, I think, to make these decisions. And also, if you're looking for additional income, which a lot of people are, more and more people that we're seeing come into our classes need more income because the cost of living has gone so high. A lot of people that thought they had a secure career position all of a sudden found themselves without a position.
Yeah,
and
just a comment on that. People that are still in the high six-figure area as far as earnings are starting to struggle because everything they have is getting more expensive.
Exactly.
Which is, what you didn't see that many years ago.
Yeah, a
We're
high
seeing that
percentage
now.
high percentage of six-figure income people are living paycheck to paycheck. But you're exactly right. The cost of living has gone up significantly. But I think that it's important to know how to generate additional income without getting an additional job. That's how most people do it. They either work overtime, they get a second or third job. You don't need to do that. You're just spending more of your time to generate money that you could be generating with much less time, basically saving, managing your time, because time is one of the most valuable assets we have that is decaying daily.
That being said, then, so if an opportunity presents itself with the market, what are some concepts or strategies people can utilize so they don't have to do that?
Yeah, the market, I think you almost can divide it into two different components. One is your income component, one is kind of a wealth retirement component. If you're looking for income, it has to be something you can achieve on a short-term basis. And for some people, that's daily, some people weekly or monthly, but you can't look at getting something 5 years from now or 10 years from now to pay for something today or next week. You need it now. There are assets that are perfect for that.
Sounds like that commercial. It's my money and I need it now.
And I need it now. J.G. Wentworth was that?
I think
something
that's
like
who that was, yeah.
So there are assets that are perfect for this, and the institutions are trading them. All the pros trade them, but they don't really talk to the public or the retail traders. The retail traders are told, just buy stocks, mutual funds, and hold on. I'm talking about assets like options, futures, and in the foreign exchange market. Those are not only are they short-term in nature, and they can some of them can be used more long-term too. You kind of have a choice there depending on how you use them and what your goals are. But they also have leverage, which means you can have a smaller amount of money in a portfolio and still control something worth many times that amount of money. It could be 50 times or 100 times the amount of money you have. That's leverage. People who uses leverage, well, Warren Buffett does. Warren Buffett makes probably $8 billion a year with options. How many times have you heard Warren Buffett tell you or, in a public format say, hey, you should invest in options? No, he just says buy and hold. But that's not what he's doing. All of the traders, do you think that especially, back when we had the trading pits, when you had all these traders for the various companies on the pits trading every day, do you think they would come in one day, put together a buy and hold long-term portfolio that they just hold on to for 10 or 20 years, and then they don't do anything for 10 or 20 years?
Highly doubtful.
No, they're finding opportunities every day. And there's no reason that you can't do that. Basically, we have you standing next to these pros electronically. And we do that on our website by giving trading ideas, by helping people to understand, when is the right time. Again, I mentioned that maybe what's important isn't necessarily what you're investing in, but it's when you're investing in it, when you get in, when you get out.
Yeah, and Al, we have a lot of these listeners that do want those opportunities, whether it's daily or maybe weekly. Maybe they do it once a week or twice a week or once a month. There's strategies based on your time. So don't think you have to do it every single day. Well, you dictate that. And that's strategies that we teach and techniques that we teach that are available to us and that these institutions are doing every single day. So to come in to see one of these classes or these strategies, just come into these investing classes. These classes are during the day. They're also during the weekends and in the evenings, so pretty much anybody can attend. So to learn more about these opportunities for income strategies, text the word investing to the number 210-210, or go to investingandtradinglive.com and you can pick your own seat there. Text investing to the number 210-210 for 2 seats. So Al, something interesting here. I was teaching a class here this past week. And, we talk a lot about, you were just alluding to options and stuff like that, and futures and Forex. And it was very interesting. So obviously we train how to trade stocks. I mean, that's pretty obvious, right? But we also train and teach how to trade other assets as well, as far as futures, Forex, and options. And what was interesting in these classes, and it happens all the time, but a light bulb just kind of came off, or came on, I guess we'll say. And everybody was there to learn about the stock market.
Right.
Because that's all you see out there. Right. I mean, we talk about this every single day, but we're seeing people that are listening to the radio that are coming into these classes that know about these other assets because they've been listening to us talk about them for several years now. I don't know how many. We're on episode, I think, 1109 on the podcast right now. So people still don't really know what these other assets are. Mm-hmm. So it's not new, but it's just different for people.
Right.
So when you work with people that come to these investing classes that aren't even aware that these other opportunities are out there, sometimes doing different things is hard for people. How do you help people become comfortable, at least wanting to know more about that?
Sure. Well, first of all, we want to talk about what the advantages are of those assets and why you might want to trade them. Why do the pros trade them? And what can you benefit from maybe choosing one of these assets or a multiple of these assets? And it's like anything else. Nobody is born with all the knowledge that they have. You learn knowledge. You either learn it through experience, which is probably the hardest way to gain knowledge, or you get knowledge from people that understand and already know what they're doing. They already have the knowledge. Those are the people you want to learn from. But it's like anything else. If everybody who flies a plane wasn't born with the ability to fly a plane. So first of all, find out what are the benefits. Are there benefits in one of these assets that would be beneficial to you? And if so, wouldn't it make sense to maybe spend a little bit of time learning what those assets are? We teach classes. We have classes in all of these different assets taught by people that trade them pretty much full-time, professional traders, maybe somebody who actually worked on the floor of the Chicago Board of Options and the options pits trading, people that trade futures or Forex professionally.
Some were clerks on the exchanges.
Some started out as clerks on the exchanges. These people have a lot of experience is the bottom line here. And once you learn what these assets are, you can make that decision. Maybe stocks or mutual funds are the way you want to go. But if not, if there's something that's more beneficial to you, would it not make sense to learn a little bit about what they are? And we don't just give you the knowledge, because knowledge is valuable, but it's not valuable unless you know how to use it and when to use it. So part of what we do for our students is skill building. And that maybe is the most important component, is developing the skills to know how and when to use the knowledge, when to use the facts that are out there. If you listen to a lot of people know who Robert Kiyosaki is. He wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and another book called Retire Young, Retire Rich. He said that earned income is the worst source of income for several reasons. First, it's the highest taxed income. Second, you have to work hard for it, and it absorbs all your valuable free time. Third, there's limited leverage in it, in that the only way to earn more is to work longer and harder. And finally, there's precious little residual value in this income, because each day you have to kind of start over again. So if you want to retire poor, just keep working for money without an alternative source of income. The people that do well financially have their money make money for them. They spend money that their money is making, not money that they are making. Because if that's what you do, you're always going to remain kind of in the same spot, basically poor and suffering or struggling from paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, and that sometimes that does start with initial costs. It takes money to get started. But with these leveraged assets, and I think I want to compare and contrast this in the next segment, is talking a little bit about what you can actually get started with, because I don't think a lot of people know what you can actually
Right.
start with. So let's talk about that in the next segment. But with when you teach these investing classes, and I was just alluding to one a little bit ago, we're getting a lot of great folks that are coming into these classes that want to understand more. They don't know what's available, but they actually took that first step. And that first step is coming to these classes and seeing what it's all about. So I want to invite you to these trading and investing classes that we do here at the Academy right here in Bloomington, but all across the metro at our other locations as well. And matter of fact, we have locations worldwide, but we're here obviously in the metro area. So we'll talk about these ones. So simply just text the word investing to the number 210-210 for 2 seats for an investing class, one for you and a friend, or go to investingandtradinglive.com. So text investing to the number 210-210 for a trading and investing class. Coming up next, we're going to compare and contrast stocks and other assets as well. This is Josh and Al, Investing and Trading Live. We will be right back.